All right, so take 2. This time we're gonna fly it, try and keep the drone somewhat in frame so you can see what it's doing as I explain what I'm doing with it. It is actually somewhat breezy out today, so a lot of times your hovering and your movement's gonna be exaggerated towards the direction of the wind. So just something to take note. It's not ideal to shoot and explain, but it actually is a good non-ideal, because now you can actually see when conditions are a little less than ideal, what's actually going to happen. And then as well, if I've got any notes or things to consider while flying, they'll come to mind a lot easier as I'm dealing with them. So, just getting the drone ready, put the propellers on, getting the battery ready, the GoPro, making sure it's charged. The drone will charge the GoPro when it's in the gimbal. Might be one reason why your battery might be dying quicker some days than others on the drone, is if your GoPro is dead or if it's in need of a lot of charging, that's going to, make a dent out of the battery life of the drone itself. So that is one thing to consider or to make note of. Never really had it horribly affect anything, but that is just one thing to make a note of. So I'm got the controller ready with my tablet on it. My tablet's on. I'm waiting to turn on the controller and the GoPro and the drone again until it's somewhat level or where I want it to be taking off from. I also wait to click the battery in place until I'm ready to go. Like I said, the last thing I want to do when transporting the drone is have it start up for whatever reason. Never had it happen. Haven't heard of any of it. When you do set it down, especially in grass, try and make sure the GoPro is level as you can. The grass is going to want to fight it. So first thing I do before I turn on the drone is turn on the GoPro. Don't know if it makes a difference, but I've just always done it this way and it's always worked. So, all right, GoPro is on. Then push once, then push and hold the battery, and it will make a chime when the drone's on. So now push once, then push and hold the power button on the controller. So the controller is going to turn on here. So I'll wait for that. Just going to check and make sure you can see the drone, which you can. I'm going to try and reposition. One thing you should always try when you're first setting it up, have the drone aimed where you want, like where you're looking, or if you're taking video of something and you need it right away, I guess have it pointed in that direction. But otherwise, I like to have it pointed in the direction I'm looking. That way when I'm watching the feed on the tablet, I could see what it sees. Its left is my left, its right is my right. My forward and backwards, it just makes things a lot easier. That way you're not getting close to trees or this or that, and then your left is actually a right and you crash into it. Had it happen once, but just something that I like to do. So I'm going to try and somewhat get, well, you're not going to be able to see it anyway, but all right, so you have the drone here. It's faced away from here, and I'm just going to start recording here on the GoPro itself. My memory card will hold 1 hour and 5 minutes, and it's counting down right now. You're going to do the push to hold right here. Push and then hold to turn this on or off. And to fly, you hold fly to start the motors, and it does a good job of telling you exactly what you got to do. Now it is windy. The wind is coming from the east, so it's when it goes up, it's going to shoot over this way a little bit. I'm just going to go up a little bit more, make sure I clear all this grass, just in case the wind does want to take it. So I'm going to hold fly. It's going to go up. Oh, I'm going to hold fly all the way until the line goes. It's going to go up. The GoPro turned off because the drone itself is now commanding it. So recording again. It's going to hover. Sometimes on windy it'll hover in a 2-3 foot little bubble. But it does a really good job. You can move this button back here. If you go up, it will move it up, or it will also move it down. You also have your camera angle here, your angle presets, and everything else is going to be displayed right there as well. It'll have the flight battery level. It's 0 feet from home, 10 foot up. Now it's 3 foot because it's got that little hovering angle. So I'm going to go up a little bit just to get past all this corn. Don't know if I trust it or not. So up, again, is up here. It's going to make it go up. And then down makes it go down. You got to your right and to your left. Then you have your forward. This is the right stick forward. Right stick backwards. You can do both at the same time. Just know, especially when it's windy, slow and steady. The wind's already giving it enough problems trying to hover. So that's right on the left joystick, left on the left joystick. Again, up and down, altitude up and down. And then right joystick's right, makes it go right. Right joystick's for movement. Left makes it go left. Then we'll center it back, so we'll go back to the right. And the right joystick, forward and back, makes the drone go forward and back. All right, so I think that's good enough of the drone. So right around here, I will actually just start flying the drone, make a little lap around this field here. So the first thing I want to do is go up. The altitude you can watch on the tablet right now, 30 feet. And it's going to be windier, so the higher you go, the more the wind's going to affect it. Right now we're at 50 feet and climbing. I'm slowly going up. Again, wind and the sudden movements are going to lead to loss of control. All right, now I'm about 90 feet up. So what I like to do is get taller than the tallest thing I'm going to fly around. That way, if something were to happen, wind, I stop paying attention, anything else, and you're going to be safer. So I'm just going to move that right or that left little button control down, kind of angle it down more. Now I'm slowly panning left. That means on the left joystick, I'm going left. Just to do a little quick aerial. If you want the video itself, like if you're flying this for video, slow movements are the best way to go. So right here, I'm going to plan my route. Normally I do this before the drone's up. But what I want to do is, let me point this in the direction. I'm going to fly straight out to those trees and just loop this cornfield, okay? So flying it wise, I'm already at a height that I know is safe. You have the trees in the middle of the field. That's going to be my main concern. And with the GoPro, it shoots wide. And what I mean wide is when something looks close, it's even closer. Does a great job of, you can hold it in front of your face and get your whole entire face and what's behind you. Like, it does a great job that way. You can see a lot in perspective of where you actually are. When it comes to judging the distance between this drone now with the GoPro, it's a lot harder to judge. So I'm just going to fly straight out to the edge of this field. We've got those trees coming up here. My screen's showing 66%, 65% left on the actual drone. That's that battery. I'm playing around with losing a bar right here. Distance is pretty good. I also see there's a plane up in the sky. EAA is going on, so I do want to make sure that I'm flying lower than these planes are. So now I'm just going to loop to the other corner of the field. Again, I'm going to stop right here though. Do note anything around. You cannot see what's on side, so I could be crashing into a tree. That's why these trees here on the left, I know they're far away, and I also know that my drone is higher than them. But always make sure you know what's around the drone. By law and every regulation, you should always fly within sight of your drone. Right now I can see, not sure if you can quite see, it's kind of far away, but it is, for me, right above and right past those trees. So here's the corner of the field. And again, when it's windy and it's far away, slow movements, and I try not to go moving it left, right, while moving it forward and back or anything like that. It's simple. I got to the point I want. Now I'm slowly turning it. Didn't quite get all the way to the corner, but you get what I'm doing here. And because it is windy, I'm not going to try and go fast with it. But we are going back here. Is flying back. I'm going to cut it right to these trees here. Coming up. And now I'm just going to angle it back and come back towards me. Again, do point out. These trees, height might be within danger of the drone. Again, I can see the drone, but I'm not level with the drone, so I don't know if these trees would actually hit it or not. So always be aware of your surroundings. And right now, if I wanted to cut back to me, that little house there. All right, nope, that island is far enough away. So now I'm going to cut back. So I'm going to speed it up a little bit quicker here. So that is just flying and a few points. Probably not going to show all of it. But we have it right here. It's back to me. So now, videography. Right? So let's say that this is your land and you want to record it. How to best do that? Again, be aware of your surroundings. I'm watching it. Make sure it's in your line of sight. Good things to do for drone photography or videography is capture from the corners. So right here is the corner of the field. We'll call it the corner of the land. Try and get it right at that corner. Nice wide field of view from this GoPro. Right here, pause for 5-10 seconds. That way when it's on your tablet or your computer, grab a picture from this video. There's one corner. I'll do this to each corner of the land or the property or anything that I'm doing, one from each corner, and that gives you a great perspective of the land from the corners. A lot of people also want to do a quick 360, like put it up really high, get a good 360 going. And that shows from my land, from the perspective up top, like what's all around the land that I own. Another great thing, especially if you live in an area with some great surroundings. So I'm just gonna quickly do this here. Again, slow and steady movements, especially on a windy day. The GoPro is, or the drone is at 39%. So battery life is going down pretty quick. So I'm just gonna make this next point. All right, the next biggest thing for me, recording the actual property. Figure out your flight path. And this is going to be kind of tricky, so get used to flying it first. Make sure you are doing good with your eyes. But I'll get to the property line, maybe a little bit back more, angle it down a little bit, and I will left or right the entire property while aiming inside. So now this, and slow, especially for video, if you're trying to use this video, slow and steady. Too fast the video isn't going to make it look good, and it's going to make it look jittery. The worst part about flying like this, and why I recommend not doing it right away, it does a great job of capturing your entire property, because I'm just going to go the entire property line and just side move. That way you're getting great video of everything in the property itself. Again, the bad thing about it, I can't see where the drone's actually flying. I'm actually looking 90 degrees in, and the drone could be flying into a tree. So just really make sure that you feel confident enough to do this. This is probably the best way and the best footage you're going to get of a property. Now I can tell we're coming up on the corner, so I'm just going to slowly turn while slowly moving less. Again, slow and steady for video is going to make the video. If you go too fast, if you rush it, the end result's not going to look good. If it's your own property, this is your own project, you could go back and reshoot it. But again, you could be doing the same thing twice. Kind of redundant there. If this is for somebody else or far away from you, you might not have the option to go back and reshoot it. So do it right the first time. Slow and steady. Now, I'm hitting 25%. I'm getting warnings on the controller. I'm in the corner farthest away from me. I know moving right, I'm going to run into these trees over here on the right ridge. Height-wise, I look pretty safe, but I'm not going to risk it. And again, I'm at 24% now. So I'm just going to fly it back home. Watching out for the trees coming up here. Eyes are on the drone itself. I will still watch the drone while looking at, we'll say I look at the screen kind of like driving in a car, right? So I'm watching the drone as kind of like looking out the front windshield. And then I look down at the screen kind of like I would look at my mirrors. And now that I'm getting closer to landing, now you're looking at your mirrors more often. I'm looking at the controller more often, lining it up where the actual drone's going. And I'm watching with my eyes too, because now I'm getting close to the corn, I'm getting close to buildings, getting close to people. So I'm going to move this back in frame. Again, see, we're getting kind of close to the corn. Height-wise, it looks okay for me on the ground, but I'm not at level, not at eyesight with it. So most important, like I mentioned before, now that it's facing towards me, while landing, everything's going to be backwards, so you got to know that. So I'm actually going to face it away from me, so its left is my left. Really easy to remember being backwards or not, but sometimes if it's getting close to something, you're going to panic. All right, and now the battery life is low, 7%, and it's automatically going home and it's automatically landing. So this is actually a good way to show you it's auto home. So battery is at 6%, I think it's 8%. It auto landed, and at 25% it warned. Just know that at 25% it warned, it also knows how far away from home it is. So if I was quite a distance at 25% when that warning comes in, it's going to know it's going to need 20% to get home. So it's not even going to give you the option to go further. It's going to auto go to home at like 20% or at what it needs. It's going to leave 5 or 10% of battery life to play with, like to make sure that it lands at home with enough, if not a little bit extra. But as you saw right there, it was a great example of the return to home. I was slowly going down with it, slowly going to land it, but it all of a sudden went up a little bit, and then it came right back down. Well, once it started going up, that was the auto home feature kicking in. If I wasn't at or close to that 0 point, that auto home feature would have actually made it go all the way up to that, I think, 250 feet that I had set for the return to home altitude. So let's say I was 10 feet over to the side, it would have went up to 200 feet in the air and then came back down. So just know the percentages, know what the drone's going to do. If you do move this sticks while it is returning to home, it will, depending on what the battery life is, it will let you manually control it. It will like cancel that auto home. I was playing at 7% towards the end there, so I don't think that would have actually let me manually control it anyway. I was playing really, really close to the low level there. And now I'm just going to pack it up. I took the drone out first. And then I put the little foam insert in the gimbal. Took the propellers off. Then I put the controller in the box. Drone in the box. Propellers in the box. GoPro in the box. And close the box up. Hey, bud.
We are in a new town.
What?